Before you choose a VSO, selecting the wrong person to help with your VA claim can derail your entire family's financial future. There are some key things you need to know before choosing a VSO or choosing who is going to help you out with your VA disability claim, and I'm going to unveil all of those for you today. I'm Jordan Anderson with VAClaimsAcademy.com. Let's get straight into it. Now, you wouldn't believe how many horror stories that I've heard of veterans who have gone through their kind of assigned person. Sometimes they're transitioning from the military and they're assigned a free, VSO or someone to help with their VA claim. And they think that, hey, they can turn to this person, they can trust this person, they're certified, they're accredited by the VA, and it ends up burning them. A lot of times this could happen and they don't find out for decades down the line where it's like, hey, you know what? I may be missed out on 7 figures. I may be missed out on $100,000 plus, and that can absolutely happen. So the goal of this video is to get you equipped to know, yeah, you can get free help, but you need to know how to be discerning in who you allow to get their hands on your claim, because let's be honest, this is probably the most significant type of income that you could ever get in your life. We're talking about passive and tax-free, and of course you deserve it for getting hurt during service. So a couple of things to note here. Number one, you're going to have what the VA tells you, which is, hey, only go accredited, right? So make sure anyone is VA accredited. That's the official notion that the VA is going to kind of convince you of and tell you. I would encourage you to think critically of that. It could be a positive that someone is VA accredited. It's just not the end all be all. It's not. You gotta kind of know who is, in this process, who is the biggest advocate for you? Is it the VA? Probably not. Who is it actually? It's not me. It should be you. You should be your own biggest advocate in this process, which means that you should know enough to tell the mechanic, who just told you that you need to change your blinker fluid, that, hey, you know what? I don't believe you. That's so important because you need to be able to supervise your own claim. This is too important for you, it's too important for your family, not to get high speed enough to at least be able to, sort of identify, that sounds wrong, let me get a second opinion on that. I'll give you one example, and this actually might be familiar to you if you've had a VSO, particularly one that doesn't perform, super well. A lot of veteran service organizations, that's what VSO stands for, a lot of them won't tell you about your ability to empower yourself and actually write a personal statement. Please leave a comment below if this was you, or if they have told you, or maybe they haven't told you. But a lot of them, for some reason, won't even let you know that personal statements exist. So what ends up happening is you have this big basket of unknown unknowns that you carry with you all through life until maybe a fellow veteran shares this video with you, or shares another, maybe one of Combat Craig's videos talking about personal statements. And it's like, aha, it's this epiphany moment. And then you go back and wish that VSO or whoever was helping you out would have at least told you. Because most veterans, we're not lazy. You give us a vector, you give us the know-how, you equip us, you get the job done, But these unknown unknowns, you can't do anything about. There's just no way to do that. And that's what really gets you, and it can be dangerous. So that's one example of kind of the harm that can happen when you don't get yourself high speed and you take everyone's word for it. And this can happen a couple of ways. What I see commonly is someone gets a rating, they are helped out maybe by a VSO, maybe by an accredited agent, and let's say they get 50%. Hey, I got my PTSD rated at 50%. Oh, I feel great. I'm going to tell a fellow vet, when we're out getting beers. Well, lo and behold, maybe that veteran actually should have been at a 70, but they don't really know that. So then they refer that accredited agent to someone else, and then so on and so forth. You get the picture. It can end up with a lot of people underrated. What are some things to look for? Number one, of course, make sure that you are just as high speed as whoever you're trying to get to help. And I know what you're saying. Okay, what's the point of getting help then? If I know the same as the VSO. Well, the VSOs kind of actually have a benefit because they have access to VBMS, Veteran Benefits Management System. They have an inside look. They can look to see some certain records. They can look to see kind of the status of your claim a little bit sooner, a little bit easier. There is benefits to enlisting the help of VSOs. You just have to know, one, do you have a good VSO or a bad VSO? And you'll know that a couple ways. Number one, do they actually give you attention? Are they hard to get a hold of? Do they answer the phone? Or do they seem like they're kind of trying to avoid you? That one should be obvious, right? Are they easily reachable? That's going to be important. Number two, you can kind of listen to them, talk to them about your claim. This is what I encourage you to do. Speak with them, and if they go 15 minutes, if they go 20 minutes, and you hang up that phone, and they didn't tell you about personal statements, if they didn't tell you some things that maybe you've learned from this channel that you know you should be doing, and they kind of just glance over it or don't even inform you, again, that could be something that might be a red flag. You may want to get someone else. Do you feel like a number? Are you feeling like you're being educated, like they're bringing up some high-speed topics and, oh, that's a good idea, that's a good route to take, I didn't think about that strategy, right? That's important. If you feel like you're being taught this VSO is high speed, they're on it, that's a good sign that you found a great VSO. If they seem just like, oh yeah, no, we can do this, and they're kind of going along with your plan but not bringing you anything fresh, that might be indicative that, hey, maybe you have a VSO that's not so good, or maybe they're overwhelmed. Most of the veteran service organizations are great people. A lot of times they're just flooded with folks asking the same questions every day. It's a really tough job. It can be very tough, and a lot of them are volunteers. But here's the bottom line. Let's go back to that example of the veteran who got rated at 50%. If he would have submitted a personal statement for his PTSD, a well-written one, probably would have been at 70, which is the average for mental conditions. I mean, you're talking about the difference. That's almost a car payment every single month, that the difference that would have made. So you're talking about, could have had another car, but now he doesn't, and he didn't even really know. And that losing and hemorrhaging funds every single month, tax-free especially, really does a number on someone's household. So it's important that we know and are cognizant and aware of the things that we should be doing to maximize your VA claim. So in conclusion, when you select a veteran service organization, a VSO, I would treat it like you're interviewing someone for a job. You want them to kind of educate you to a degree. So in order to do that, you need to at least get baseline, familiar with the VA claims process, so you know what questions to ask. And then when you're listening to their answers, okay, hey, is this BS, or is this a good strategy? Does this person actually know what they're talking about? Are they motivated? Are they inspiring me? Or am I just a number? That's hugely important, whether it's a VSO, whether it's an accredited agent, or whether you're paying someone to help you with your VA claims. That should be the standard. I really hope this video helped you. If it did, hit the like button. Definitely sound off with your experience down below. If you have a VSO, if you had some other help, I want to hear about that. And share this with someone who needs it. Cheers.